February 9, 2023.
Questions about all these lawsuits I've been involved in. And listen, it's such a standard part of working in the blogging and media world. Unfortunately, I would think of it as sort of an occupational hazard. I have been targeted frequently by some people that I think are just like up to really
not so good things.
And so sometimes those people don't like me reporting on them. But one thing that we've been trying to prove to the court in all of these, because there's been a series of them, is that I'm a journalist. And
so how come you still can't prove that you're a journalist? Is it because you don't know whether you are or you're not, because you haven't actually studied anything to do with journalism, actually understanding code of practice, code of conduct, media law and ethics, reputation, whether you're going to be credible, whether you're going to be gossip, whether you're just going to be a puppet, whether people are just going to use you to spread word and harm people, or are you going to be a journalist where you actually are able to remain neutral? There's nothing ethical about you, Katie Joy, and that's why you continually get lawsuits for the same thing, defamation. You would think you would learn, but no. Been trying to prove that she's a journalist, and wham bam, thank you, ma'am. The judge lets her know that yes, Katie Joy, you are.
I should qualify what's called journalistic privilege in the state of Minnesota. And yesterday, a judge actually said that I was. So they said defendants are plausibly a journalistic outlet which enjoys a qualified privilege against defamation claims, basically meaning like
I'm doing a job.
And I have.
Okay, so it's your job and it's your main income. So how come you drink on the job? What other job where you have been employed over the years on your resume have you been able to drink on the job? Do you know that alcohol impairs your thinking? You're unable to see the real picture. It blinds you, makes you groggy, gives you an ego boost, makes you a loose unit, makes you fucking dangerous. Why are you drinking on the job? Journalists don't do that. And if you would like to be a journalist, why don't you let your work show that you are a journalist? It's not up to you to say that you are. Your work should reflect journalism code of conduct. Do you care about what you're posting? Do you care about the public? Are you out to harm people, slander, defame? Yes, Katie, that's you. You're not respectful. You don't have sources. There's no journalistic privilege to protect your sources. You're not a journalist, Katie. You are reading this thinking, oh, it applies to me because I'm a reporter. Well, there's gossip magazines and then there's high-ranking journalists getting awards. Have you Googled your name?
A privilege to do my job. And you can't just sue me
because I've done my job.
Why don't you care about your job? Why don't you care about your reputation? Why don't you care about your credibility? How people see you, about your past, about your resume, about your future. No one's going to hire you, Katie. No one is going to hire you. You're claiming you are a journalist? How many journalists do you know that ignore 4 cease and desists? Continue to think that they are above the law. Think that no one can see. Just by looking at you, Katie. I mean, God, I would not trust anyone with makeup application like yours.
Also, the judge said this: plaintiffs have a steep mountain to climb while bearing a heavy burden to prove their defamation claims against the defendants. And while the record submitted to the court will present
at the present juncture
does not categorically show the plaintiffs do not have
any likelihood of prevailing on the merits, the court does not consider the claims to have substantial likelihood of being proven.
Yes. And then they ask you for the documents and you're like, no, I'm not going to. That's journalistic privilege. No, it's not. Because in order for you to print what you did, there needs to be proof, there needs to be some source, there needs to be facts. It's not just all made up bulldang, because, Katie, your sources are using you to harm Robert Shin, like Swanson did.
So the court doesn't believe that Robert Shin has a case.
At that moment,
at the present juncture.
5 months later, the tide has changed, Paulson. Geez, I don't think you're a journalist at all. I think you might have lost all credibility. Not even a freelance writer. Not with your kind of sloppiness.
Case against me, nor would he win in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, way, shape, or form. You are a leaf and you don't know who you are or what you are. And really, if you are ethical or hold any substantial... No, there's no substance. Bye, Katie.
A lot of people ask me questions.
A lot of people ask you. You ask you. A lot of people are you. Every day you're a different person.